At 78, Rob Reiner finally speaks up about James Garner. Rob Reiner was born Robert Reiner on March 6, 1947 in the Bronx, New York. His dad was the famous comedian, writer, and director Carl Reiner, and his mom was actress Estelle Reiner. Rob grew up surrounded by the world of entertainment, watching up close how storytelling worked, how comedy timing worked, and all the hard work that goes on behind the scenes of show business. Growing up in a home filled with humor, creativity, and knowledge about culture gave him a strong start that would later help shape his own amazing career. Reiner first became really well known as an actor in the groundbreaking sitcom All in the Family from 1971 to 1979, where he played Michael Stivic, who everyone called Meathead. His character spoke up for modern idiots during a time when America was going through lots of big changes, often arguing with Archie Bunker's old-fashioned way of thinking. This role notably made Reiner famous everywhere, but also gave him the confidence and respect in the business to follow his own dreams as a director and storyteller. His work on the show won him multiple Emmy awards, proving his talent as a performer with both funny skills and serious acting ability. By the early 1980s, Reiner moved behind the camera, where he would make a huge impact in American movies. His first film as director, This Is Spinal Tap, in 1984, a funny fake documentary about a made-up rock band, became a cult classic and is still thought of as one of the greatest comedies of all time. He followed this with a bunch of movies that critics loved and that made lots of money, proving he could do many different things. Stand By Me, in 1986, based on a Stephen King short story, showed his gift for touching, character-focused storytelling, while The Princess Bride, in 1987, mixed fantasy, romance, and comedy in a way that has made it a loved family movie forever. In 1989, Reiner directed When Harry Met Sally, a romantic comedy that changed the genre with its clever script and amazing performance, including the famous deli scene that has become part of pop culture history. The early 1990s saw Reiner direct Misery in 1990, another movie based on Stephen King's work, which earned Kathy Bates an Academy Award for her screen performance. In 1992, Hamad A Few Good Men, an exciting military courtroom drama featuring Jack Nicholson's unforgettable "You Can't Handle the Truth" speech, one of the most quoted lines in film history. Through these films, Reiner proved he could master many different genres, from comedy and romance to suspense and drama, while always focusing on interesting characters and strong storytelling. Over the years, Reiner has taken on a wide variety of supporting roles in film and television that show off his wit, charm, and ability to easily slip into both funny and serious parts. His acting credits look like Adrenaline of modern Hollywood history, starting with great appearances in the dark comedy Throw Mama from The Train in 1987, where he showed his talent for sharp, unusual humor, and continuing with his memorable role in the beloved romantic classic Sleepless in Seattle. In 1993, a film that remains one of the most loved romantic comedies of that time. In Woody Allen's Bullets Over Broadway. In 1994, Reiner brought his comedy timing into a movie set in the past. While in The First Wives Club, in 1996, he joined an amazing group of actors in a film that became a cultural hit for its clever take on friendship, empowerment, and starting over. By the late 1990s, Reiner's acting choices kept showing his versatility. He gave a smart and knowing performance in Primary Colors in 1998, a political drama comedy that looked at drama and scandal behind presidential campaigns, and followed that with a funny role in EdTV in 1999, a satire about reality television that was ahead of its time. On TV, he found a new group of fans years later with regular appearances on the hit sitcom New Girl from 2012 to 2018. Where his role as Jess's lovable, slightly odd father added warmth and humor to the show. He even surprised many viewers with a sharp cameo in Martin Scorsese's electrifying The Wolf of Wall Street in 2013, reminding audiences he could hold his own in a high-energy, powerful cast. Perhaps one of Reiner's most well-known acting roles came in his own movie masterpiece, the cult classic fake documentary This Is Spinal Tap, in 1984. Where he appeared as the clueless Butternest fake documentarian Marty DeBurgi. His deadpan delivery and perfectly okay performance became legendary in its own right, proving that Reiner could not only create brilliant comedy but also perform it beyond Spinal Tap. He continued to step in front of the camera in his own films, including The Story of Us in 1999, where he played a key role in A Thoughtful Look at Love and Marriage and Alex and Emma in 2003, a romantic comedy that allowed him to blend his directing style with a personal touch on screen. More recently, in his political drama Shock and Awe. In 2017, Reiner took in a big supporting role that reflected his lifelong passion for journalism, truth, and accountability, showing that his acting could be as socially important as his directing. In addition to his more serious parts, Reiner has also shown a nice willingness to make fun of himself. He has appeared in playful cameos that poke fun at his public image, such as Dickie Roberts, former child star, in 2003, where he leaned into Hollywood satirine the highly praised series 30 Rock in 2010, which lived on self-mocking humor. These moments not only made him more loved by fans, but also showed his self-awareness and playful side, proving that he doesn't take his celebrity status too seriously. Taken together, Rob Reiner's body of acting work paints a picture of a man who, even while building an amazing career as a filmmaker, never stopped enjoying the pure craft of performance. His filmography shows both range and importance, spanning comedy, drama, satire, and even social commentary, making him not just a respected director, but also a familiar and beloved face on screens big and small. Rob Reiner's personal life has been marked by two important marriages that not only shaped his family, but also connected with his career in meaningful ways. His first marriage was to actress and director Penny Marshall in 1971 at a time when both were young talents starting out in Hollywood. Marshall would later become famous for her role as Laverne DeFazio on the hit sitcom Laverne and Shirley, and for directing beloved films such as Big and A League of Their Own. Already had a daughter from her previous marriage to Michael Henry. That daughter was Tracy, who would eventually become known as Tracy Reiner, an actress with a career of her own, appearing in films such as A League of Their Own, Apollo 13, and When Harry Met Sally. Rob Reiner made the heartfelt decision to adopt Tracy as his own, taking on the role of her father in every sense. And their bond has remained strong throughout the years. The marriage between Reiner and Marshall lasted for 10 years. But like many Hollywood marriages, it faced challenges, and in 1981, the couple officially divorced. Even after their separation, however, both kept a mutual respect for one another, and their shared years remained an important chapter in each of their lives. Reiner's second great love story began during the making of one of his most iconic films, When Harry Met Sally, in 1989, while directing the romantic comedy that would go on to become a classic. He was introduced to photographer Michael Lesinger. Their meeting happened by chance, and it not only started a personal relations, but also had an artist's influence on Reiner's work. In fact, their connection was so deep that it inspired him to rethink the ending of When Harry Met Sally. Originally, the film was not supposed to end with main couple ending up together, but after meeting Singer, Reiner felt needed to change it, giving audiences heartwarming and hopeful finale that has since become legendary. This mixing of his personal and professional life showed how deep Singer influenced him from the start. The relationship grew quickly, and in 1989, the same year the film was released, Reiner and Singer were married. Together, Rob Reiner and Michelle Singer built a family life that has been both rich and fulfilling. They became parents to 3 children, each of whom would follow creative paths of their own. Their first son, Jake Reiner, was born in 1991 and has since pursued a career in journalism and acting, appearing in films like Shock and Awe and working as a broadcast journalist. Their second child, Nick Reiner, born in 1993, has put his talents into writing, including co-writing the 2015 film iCarly, which was directed by his father and drew upon Nick's own struggles with addiction and recovery, making it an especially personal project for the family. Their youngest child, Romy Reiner, born in 1997, has also embraced creativity, working as an actress and comedian, sharing her humor and perspective with a new generation of audiences. Through both marriages, Rob Reiner's family life has been deeply connected with his career, influencing not only the stories he told on screen, but also the way he approached them. His relationships with Penny Marshall and Michael Singer, as well as his roles as father to Tracy, Jake, Nick, and Romy, show a man whose personal experience constantly fed into his work as a filmmaker, giving his stories warmth, authenticity, and heart. At 78 years old, veteran actor, director, and producer Rob Reiner has lived a life churned by Hollywood legends. but recently he decided to open up about someone he had long admired from a distance. James Garner, the beloved star of the Rockford Files. Reiner, known for his thoughtful honesty and warm respect for his peers, admitted that he had rarely spoken about Garner before. Buttigieg, and thinking back, had made him want to give credit where it was due. Garner, who became a household name for his stout charm, quick wit, and subtle humor, left a deep impression on Reiner both as a fan and as a fellow professional navigating the ever-changing world of television and film. Reiner began his comments by remembering the huge cultural impact of the Rockford Files. Airing in the 1970s, the show wasn't just another detective series. It stood out because of the depth Garner brought to his character, Jim Rockford. James had this way of making you believe he really was Jim Rockford. Reiner said there was nothing fake about him. You didn't feel like you were watching an actor playing a role. You felt like you were watching a real guy trying to make his way through tough situations. For Reiner, who at that time was making his mark as meathead on All in the Family, Garner's ability to create authenticity became a kind of quite lesson in screen acting. Rob Reiner also pointed out how Garner's performance oppressed something unique in television, a hero who wasn't invincible. Rockford wasn't the typical tough, unbeatable detective. Instead, Hefton got knocked around, struggled with money, and made mistakes, but always came back with wit and determination. He wasn't like the superheroes or the vulnerable tough guys you'd often see on TV. Rockford got beat up. He got tricked. He had bad luck. But you love him more for it. James showed us that vulnerability can be the greatest strength in acting, Reiner explained. That lesson meant a lot to Reiner, who would later carry those same truths into his own career as a director, focusing on character-driven stories like When Harry Met Sally and A Few Good Men. Another part of Reiner's admiration for Garner came from Garner's off-screen reputation. In Hollywood, it was common to hear stories about difficult stars or egos clashing behind the scenes. But Garner consistently earned respect for his professionalism and kindness. Everybody who worked with James talked about what a good guy he was. No nonsense, no drama, just came in, did the work, and treated everyone with respect. That's a rare thing in this business, Reiner noted. For someone like Reiner, who grew up in the industry as son of comedy legend Carl Reiner, the example of Garner reinforced the idea that true greatness wasn't just about talent. It was also about character. When discussing the enduring legacy of the Rockford Files, Reiner emphasized how the show influenced television storytelling for decades to come. Many modern detective dramas and even character-driven series owe something to the template Garner helped create. If you watch TV today, you'll see so many shows that borrow from what James did, mixing humor, real-life struggles, and drama into one character. He paved the way for that style, Reiner said. In his view, Garner's work remains timeless because it reflected real human experience rather than just entertainment formulas. Perhaps most touching, though, was Reiner's account of how Garner impacted him personally, even without a close friendship between them. I didn't know James all that well. We weren't close friends, but watching him, learning from him, that was enough. He gave me an education just by being himself on screen. And sometimes that's the greatest gift another actor can give you, Reiner reflected. For Reiner, Garner was not only a television icon, but also a quiet teacher whose lessons continued to echo long after the cameras stopped rolling. In opening up at this stage of his life, Rob Reiner seemed intent on making sure James Garner's contributions are remembered not just as nostalgia, but as an essential part of American television history. By speaking with such warmth and clarity, Reiner honored a man who had shaped an era and whose influence continues to ripple through Hollywood today. Rhetoric Claude can make mistakes,